Razaban here for FightHype.com back in the UK. Legendary promoter. Richard Schaefer. Rich, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
You're obviously back here for your fight, Joyce.
Yeah.
A lot of people said initially that he was he was on the Wilder Fury undercard. He's now back here out again against. It's probably quite his test to his career so far remains to learn. How do you assess his career so far, and kind of where does he go in the next 12 to 18 months?
Well, he had 7 fights so far, 7 fights, 7 wins, 7 knockouts. He's clearly in the hurt business. He is the heavyweight with the biggest punch. Reminds most ringside experts and analysts, media people, fans about George Foreman. He has as well a tremendous chin, an iron chin. So big punch, iron chin makes any heavyweight a very dangerous opposition. So his career so far has gone well. He's ranked number 5 in the world now by the WBA. He's fighting for the WBA Gold Heavyweight World title, which basically means he'll be in line for the regular title and then the super title held by AJ, Anthony Joshua. Joyce is ready for anyone. So if everything goes well here, it's a big test for him against former world champion Stavern. If everything goes well, we plan on having him back sometime in May or June on the card of Wilder, when Wilder fights again, and then hopefully maybe September, October against the regular title holder, the winner between Char and Trevor Bryan. And then early next year, hopefully one of the 3 guys, whether if it's a Fury or a Wilder or a Joshua, but Joyce is ready.
I heard a quote from Abel Sanchez that he didn't want Joe to fight Luis Ortiz. He wanted him to have 1 or 2 more fights. Is that something you agreed with?
Well, Joe is ready to fight anyone, and sometimes you have to slow him down a bit, but I have to tell you what I've seen from Joe. I truly believe he's ready for anyone right now. So we just have to see, but right now, as I said, we have the test tomorrow, and then we're looking at coming back on the card with Wilder in the early summer, and then late summer, early fall, hopefully for the regular title. So we have sort of like our future, our next 2-3 fights mapped out, and I'm sure that eventually the Luis Ortiz fight will happen. And if it's sooner, great, and if it's later, great too. Joe is ready.
Richard, you've been part of mega events in your career. Floyd Pacquiao stands out. You're the man that was known as building that Golden Boy Promotions roster of fighters. Mm-hmm. Right now we're seeing 3 of the best heavyweights in the world in Joshua Wilder and Tyson Fury. Tyson announced this week that he signed a big deal with ESPN. Does it hurt boxing? Does it hurt the fans when we have these superstar fighters and these media outlets in the middle? Television outlets that are making things a bit difficult and fight to happen?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's a little bit too early to tell, but you do have these 3 platforms: the ESPN platform, you have the Fox Showtime platform, and then you have the Zone platform. It's a little bit the same here in the UK, where you have BT Sports and you have Sky. And unfortunately, all of these TV platforms have invested substantial amounts of money into their fighters and into the sport of boxing. So I can sort of like understand that when it comes to the big fights, that each one of those platforms don't want to give up the rights to those big fights to another platform after they have invested all that money. So I can understand that. However, we as a sport, we have to find and develop a mechanism that these big fights can happen, and maybe it's on a rotation system, like what you see in the United States with the Super Bowl, where every one of the free over-the-air networks, they rotate when 1 year it's Fox, 1 year it's CBS, 1 year it's ABC, 1 year it's NBC. So they rotate. Whether if it's a rotating system or whether if it's a purse bid system, that the fights go to purse bid and whoever bids the most gains the rights. But we need to be able to see these fights because if we don't, then I think we cheat the sport, and most importantly we cheat the fans, but most importantly we cheat the fighters as well, because these are world-class athletes and they do want to test their skills against the best. They want to be known as having been or being the best of their era, and you can only do that if they fight each other. So I think it's important that we find a way that we can see these fights and not just say, well, it's not possible.
Richard, obviously Floyd Pacquiao, Lewis Tyson, I think Klitschko, Joshua were on different broadcasts or joint broadcast productions. There was hundreds of millions of pounds in Pacquiao Mayweather fight and Lewis Tyson. Is it profitable enough when you look at Wilder, Fury, Joshua, that there's enough money in them to have joint productions in America, for example? That's
another possibility, So I mean, they're just the bottom line. I don't have the answer, and it might be from fight to fight different. But I think we need to find a way to deliver these fights to the fans, and that's the bottom line. And what the mechanism it is, or how you're going to get it done, as I said, it might be different depending on the fight, depending on the promoters involved, depending on the networks involved. But as they say, where there is a will, there is a way, and sometimes maybe the will is not there.